everybody, it's Christine here with a special episode this week on a Friday of the CoLiving Code Show. This is actually the slide deck and my audio from the big Proptech Summit event that I spoke at in Oslo, Norway on October 10th. So we wanted to share that publicly and hope you enjoy it. It was really cool to meet all of the leaders here in the Nordics that are innovating Proptech. And just had such an incredible time with everybody here, learned tons. Happy to share this with you. Again, it was my two favorite subjects in the world, co-living and technology, that I got to speak about on stage. So I hope you guys enjoy this special episode this week.
Talking of hypes, remember co-working hype? Pretty big. Now we're going to talk about Proptech and co-living. Christine McDonald. She's actually the author of the CoLiving Code, and she's taking this to the next level. She's a highly sought-after serial entrepreneur, and she wrote the first book on co-living in 2018, which is called the CoLiving Code: How to Find Your Tribe, Share Resources, and Design Your Life. And Richard Branson recommended it, so it must be great. I haven't read it yet. So she's here directly from the sunny Los Angeles to the not as sunny Norway, Oslo, to share her perspective on Proptech and co-living. So give a warm welcome to Christine McDonald.
Yes, so we had the proper English, thank you very much, and now we have the American English. I will try to talk slow. I get very excited about co-living, so I start talking fast, so I apologize. Beyond the hype, I had to laugh about this, the theme for the day, because I'm like, Americans invented hype. And now I get to talk about it. But I will dig deep and show you guys what's hype, what's not, and we'll have a few laughs and have some fun talking about co-living. So actually, out of curiosity, I always ask when I speak, how many people have heard of co-living? Oh, yes, I love it. Every time more and more hands, and it doesn't matter where in the world I speak, and that's exciting. And that tipping point happened. I published a book last summer. Nobody knew what co-living was. I think maybe 20% of hands would go up at most. And that was summer last year. Then 2 separate billion-dollar investments injected into co-living. So when you see the word billion in co-living, then people start paying attention, which is exciting. And so I wrote the CoLiving Code, but I'm also the CEO of Kindred, which is the first global software platform for co-living. So it's the entire global ecosystem kind of foundation that all these co-living operations around the world we're putting on. So it's a directory, so it's for the user, and it's also for the operator. All the management, all the invoicing, all the billing, the rent collection, all that chaos that's happening that we're going to talk about is the infrastructure we're building. So I get to talk about my 2 favorite things, co-living and technology. My background is in real estate, so it's like full circle. Property management, 97 to 2002 in California. Have my real estate license. But then I went into entrepreneurship from 2003 to now. I know I'm dating myself, but that's fine. So I worked for one of the largest property management companies in California, which is the Irvine Company. I launched Kindred Quarters, which is an actual co-living home for entrepreneurs in San Diego and Los Angeles. And then Kindred is the technology platform. And, okay, so I know there's a million definitions of PropTech. This one I really like. This one is out of Forbes. Businesses using technology to disrupt and improve the way we buy, rent, sell, design, construct, and manage residential and commercial property. And you guys, real estate is the world's largest asset class, yet it is one of the last to get disrupted by technology. I don't know why. I mean, I know that it's clunky and there's so much paperwork, but there's no reason why we can't. And here's a macro level, and this isn't even everything. I try to find the best image. I think CB Insights does a really great job at data collection on a global level. I mean, look at every little niche of PropTech, and again, this is not all of it. Leasing, renting, brokerage, mortgage industry, listing, investment. It's just super, PropTech is super broad and super wide, which is exciting. Co-working is 11 years old, you guys, believe it or not, over a decade already. And co-living is a little infant. It's 1 to 2 years. And again, if you could look back 11 years ago and think that strangers were going to work together, in a big office, no cubicles involved, people would say, well, you're crazy. How's like an Apple employee going to work alongside of a Microsoft employee in the same office? What if they overhear each other? But that's what, WeWork disrupted. I'm a huge fan of that company. And so co-living is disrupting living. This is actually me and my housemates in a beautiful home in San Diego, 6-bedroom house, 6 of us. Each of them owns their own companies, so it's specific for business owners. And they actually this summer had the front page of the business section of the San Diego Union Tribune. These 6 millennials make millions, so why do they share a house? And this is a Monday night mastermind session. Every Monday night, we help each other out with our businesses from 7 to 9 p.m. It's the most incredible living environment. It's so inspiring. I love it. I actually lived in Amsterdam for Techstars this year for 5 months, and I love Europe too, just as much as I love California. But I miss this environment of we have a chef that makes all our meals every day. We have laundry done. We have a car detailer. We literally have outsourced our entire lives. This is a very unique tiny niche of co-living. So there's a house, 6-bedroom house, but there are huge communities, multi-unit buildings, 400 units being built right now, ground up co-living. So I always like to kind of make that distinction. It's not just these little houses that are doing co-living. This is why I started the technology company. We were using over 11 different applications to power one house, which is absolutely ridiculous. Rent payment was being collected through Stripe and PayPal and Venmo, and we were using Google Apps and Airbnb to find housemates and Craigslist, and it was just chaos. And this is a real screenshot. Hopefully nobody knows this company. I didn't put the name of the company. This is a real screenshot of software right now that some co-living operators are using. And I'm like, wait, is this 2001? Or they said, no, this is what we're using right now. I'm like, okay, so definitely we need to kind of revamp how software is being used in this industry. What it is a hybrid of a PMS software system and a hotel, because you've got to think co-living sits in the center, like community living, because there's nightly stays, weekly, monthly, annual. So a PMS system, short circuits. It only likes monthly rentals. It doesn't like nightly. But a hotel loves nightly rentals. And also down on the granular level, you will have co-living operations in this, and again, I always try to talk globally. Our 2 biggest markets are Europe and the States. So it's nice that I can kind of talk about both. They are, okay, I'll give one example. This is actually in the States. So it's a 300-unit apartment community, 300 units. But you have 2 people sharing a bedroom, which is in a 3-bedroom apartment, which is in a 300-unit complex. So to be that granular and have 2 residents sharing a room in a 3-bedroom apartment, like a PMS system, no way. That doesn't work at all. It's usually 1 resident per unit. And so, like I said, we were in Amsterdam this year for 5 months. It was incredible. We were in the Techstars program. It was Arcadis sponsored it. It was the City of 2030 Accelerator. So with smart cities, what are cities going to look like in the year 2030, which is futurism, and it's my other favorite thing to think and talk about. So it was an incredible program. Okay, now hype, hashtag hype. Okay, I speak again with Kindred. I've gotten to speak with most of the largest operators around the world in co-living. And they call me and they're like, hey Christine, can we talk to you about Kindred? Can we white label it? So can we use your back-end technology, but our front-facing brand, property brand? Great, yes, we can. We've built it for that. That is an option. It does cost a little bit more. And so I go, well, what are you using right now? And I'm on their website. I almost took screenshots of the website, but I didn't want to give up these companies. And they're saying, well, we're using Google Excel spreadsheet for appointments, and we're using, some other piece of software for the invoicing. We're using Slack to talk to each other. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Big words on your website. It says proprietary technology. I'm like, I don't think Google or any of these applications are proprietary technology. But what's happening is, you guys are seeing $40 million invested into these operations, these headlines, Series A, 40 million. And then they're saying urban tech. 40 million invested into urban tech co-living. But again, they're mostly property managing. They're not a technology company, they are a property management company, or maybe a real estate company, definitely not a technology company. But again, this is what's raising that VC money. It's just these little buzzwords, these hype words that I love so much. Roommate matching algorithms. They ask you two questions. Are you a morning person or night person? Okay, do you like cats or dogs? I'm like, okay, that is not any sort of fancy algorithm. Like, that's all you're asking, that's how you're pairing your roommates? Like, but again, roommate matching algorithms. I'm sure these are Americans using these. Most of these terms are on American websites. I will tell you that. And then they're saying AI and big data all the time. And then I always dig deep, like, okay, well, what kind of artificial intelligence are you using? What kind of big data are you tracking? And then the conversation kind of calms down. So that's some hype that's going on right now that we kind of giggle about and laugh. So already in the US, 1,000% increase in just the past 5 years. 2016, 2021, in new construction of co-living units. So it's taking off now. We're hitting that tipping point. It's taking off, which is super exciting. Europe, again, big market. But India, they're projecting India alone to be a $93 billion market alone. Huge. Now, on demand, okay, so the new age of housing. So again, on demand. Short-term, long-term should be as easy as ordering an Uber. I've been saying this for 2 years. The smartphone in your hand can do so much. Like, I don't know why it's so complicated to find a place to live in the world, right now, because all the technology's there. It just needs to be streamlined and efficient. Digital signing. You guys can use your smartphone, use your finger, and you can sign a lease on your phone, right? There shouldn't even be any paperwork to sign, like physical paperwork. Internet of Things, right? So again, using that smartphone to do different things. Smart homes, smart apartments. There's some really cool hardware. I know there's an access control company here on Lock. There's a lot where you can, access your home or access where you're going to stay that night just from your smartphone. Not have any keys involved anymore. Not meet a person. Imagine the admin time to meet a person, to give them a key for them to stay for one night. Like, cut that out, you send a text, boom, they're in. So anything from finding, viewing, booking, and managing, all that can be done on a smartphone. 360-degree visual tours. How cool would it be if I could have, from the States, found a place in Amsterdam, had, watched a video of a 360-degree tour, and just feel like I was there. And then scheduling an actual face-to-face video interview with your fellow housemates. Here, now we're going to go over all the drivers of co-living. So, millennials, okay, I always like to break this down because sometimes people get a little confused on the ages. And millennials get all the attention, but I definitely want to talk about Gen Z also. Millennials, 25 to 39. So I'll give my age away. I'm 39. So I'm what we consider old, me and my friends say we're old millennials. So we're still in the category, we still understand millennials. But Gen Z is the next one coming up, which that's 18 to 24-year-olds. So a lot of them are in university right now, or maybe they're just now moving into their first apartment or co-living environments. And these are terms you guys have probably already heard. So generation rent, access over ownership, global residency, remote work, urbanization, experience economy. Okay, people are paying way more money right now, especially those generations, for experiences than they are the fancy car in the driveway. They don't care about that anymore. They care about experiences. They put it on Instagram. So there's a whole shift in what their purchase power, what they're using their purchase power for. And then community and tribe. Community, super important. Loneliness, I definitely wanted to talk about that during this presentation. It's a big issue. People are becoming isolated. They're on their phones too much. They're on social media. How do we now pull humans back into tribe living? Kind of like back in the caveman days. Humans need to be around other humans. And I think that's a big shift that we're seeing in a positive direction, which is great. 88% of millennial renters live with roommates already. So that's, again, another driver. The other joke I always make is that, because they're like, Christine, isn't co-living just having roommates? I'm like, yeah, real close. I mean, millennials can make anything sound cool these days. So they just change it to say, oh, I'm co-living instead of living with roommates, and now it's like super cool. So that's good. I mean, regardless, I still love I love that people are living together regardless of what we call it, but yeah, I mean, I think that they're making it cool now. City living, another driver. City living going up, homeownership's decreasing. All my friends in mortgage, I keep telling them this. I'm like, please pay attention. A 30-year mortgage in the States is not cutting it anymore. If you ask a Gen Z won't even sign a 12-month lease. They say, no way. I said, well, what about I asked an 18-year-old this recently. What about 6 months? Oh, no, that's too long. 3 months? They're like, yeah, I guess I could commit to 3 months, but 3 months to them is like forever. 2/3 of the population will be living in cities by 2050. That's a UN stat. 15% of property in cities are sitting vacant on average, just like Andrew talked about, which I loved. There's billions of people and 7 billion people in the world, and there's billions of rooms vacant. Retail, office, residential. People are now converting, they're repurposing space, retail space, into living space. And that's great, because there's so much space just sitting vacant. Why are we still building when construction is the number one cause for this climate change issue we're having? Construction's the number one cause. Why don't we try to repurpose current space first? 86% of the world's GDP growth will be in cities. That's why everybody's moving to the cities. Accessibility, affordability, sociability. Again, big cities. Real estate prices keep going up, especially in the gateway cities around the world. Experience economy, again. People are willing to pay for services that increase their quality of life. And housing is playing a key role in forming deep communities. Experiences over things we talked about, and they want flexibility. This is another key word. I tell everybody this too. So here's a hack for the property owners in the room. You guys are probably like, I want a year lease. I want at least 1 year lease. Commercial property, maybe it's 5 years. Like, no, the banks need the banks are conservative and they want to see there's not a lot of turnover. Okay, first off, you can charge a premium to do a shorter term lease, and they will pay it. And what's funny is a lot of times they end up staying longer anyways. And now that was just free cash, net income, because you charge an upcharge on a shorter term lease. So please try to at least test that theory. The other thing is these co-living, it's density, right? So co-living, now they're fitting more people on a smaller, square meter unit. And then they're having shared common spaces versus wasted space on a huge kitchen. When they're ordering Uber Eats, they're not even cooking. I don't know why there's these big kitchens in every unit. Instead, how about one kitchen that could be shared amongst a bunch of people? Every unit is more for sleep and then common areas to hang out. So it's the density, and that's what's boosting. So one of the larger operators in the States right now, it's a 30% increase is what he's seeing, again, per square feet. So I always switch if it's per square meter here, but per square feet there, 30% increase on income. Just huge. And I know bankers like hearing that. Fractional ownership, this is what I definitely preach. Anybody can take this idea and run with it. Please, 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 because otherwise I'm going to end up doing it because I'm so passionate about it. Again, will they sign a 30-year mortgage? No. Very unlikely. These new generations coming up, and you're going to see this shift. Would they, however, pay for a piece of real estate that they get equity on, that they're earning a return on, a piece that they can then access anywhere in the world? Similar to timeshare model, but that's very dated and needs disruption, major disruption. So again, I've been talking to a few people, and it's like if we create this network of co-living places around the world that you can access and that you have a little piece of ownership in, and you're not just wasting all your money on rent, then this is huge. And I don't know, and this is more of a fintech play. Again, anybody in this room can run with it, or if you know of a good one, tell me about it, because I've yet to find one that's really taking this on a global level. And again, talking global resident. And you're going to hear that more and more. People can just jump from city to city around the world a lot easier. So make hassle-free accommodations, fully furnished, service rooms, gateway cities. These co-living, they're paying one payment, and they're getting utilities, furnished unit, rent, sometimes food, like in our case. I mean, very, very convenient. And that's what, it's the 3 C's for co-living: cost, community, and convenience. Those are the 3 most important things. Membership, so this is something else that we're probably going to tackle soon, is how do we use, living as a service? Like, how do you're a member and you can access living space in different cities around the world. It's a membership-based, somehow creating that. A couple companies are doing it now. Outsite is one of them, but they're only doing a membership for outsite locations. I think they have 14 right now. But how do you do that with even 100 locations globally? And tech-driven, making it so user-friendly for the user, finding the place, managing, paying their rent with one button on their phone, and staying connected and building community. And again, we talked about climate change and how big it's just such, mobility, cars, of course, is important, but again, housing, construction is just such a bigger impact. Another really cool thing is that, which this is just starting, is apps that, and again, this is smart home, smart apartment technology. They leave, with co-living, they already paid, they're not paying utilities, it's factored in. Are they gonna know to turn off the air conditioner? Are they even gonna care? They're kind of playing a flat rate, it's not gonna affect them if the utility bill skyrockets. Well, now there's this incredible technology and it's geo-fenced. Meaning when you leave with your smartphone, the air conditioner, if you left it on, and you go, a little ways, 10 minutes away from the building and you left for work, it shuts off automatically. Coming back into that geofence area, it kicks back on, 10 minutes before you come home. Same with the lights. You could do that with everything in a smart apartment. And that's really cool, because again, that's these little changes that are gonna help with the bigger global problem. And just humanizing housing. And I think that's just a core principle of co-living. So I always say, co-living to me, like the co means community. If it was one sentence answer, that's always my answer. With co-living is community. Please activate community. You really have to work at it. You don't just put the word on your website, co-living, we believe in community. And I go there and the common spaces are empty, nobody's talking to each other, and they're all super isolated. I think community, it takes a lot of work, but once you nail it, it's worth it. And I like this image because it looks like the future, first off. And I truly believe, especially in the mega cities, which I know you guys are gonna hear more about later today, 60-story building, top 30 floors are residential, and then the bottom 30 are co-working, and you take an elevator to work. Like, that's your commute. So no more commute to work. That's where I see the future, especially in the super dense cities. And for you guys that want to learn more about co-living and not just hear from me, I have a weekly podcast and show called the Co-Living Code Show. It's a passion project of mine. Actually, it started from research from my book. I had videoed all the interviews early last summer, and then we just kept it going. So you guys can it's on iTunes, it's on Spotify, it's on SoundCloud, and it's on YouTube. The YouTube's kind of cool because you get to actually see the operators. Charlie is the founder of the Student Hotel. How many of you guys have heard of the Student Hotel here in Europe? Cool. Okay, awesome concept. That is where I lived in Amsterdam. So I got to live there and got to talk to Charlie. Such an amazing human being. $1.8 billion, they have. They've been doing it for 10 years, but I think that's the future funding and growth plan. And that's a decent amount of money going into co-living and student accommodations. Sometimes there's crossover between the two. And let's see, so would love, you guys can check that out. Here's some interviews. Also, I have investors on a lot that are in this co-living space. So investors, operators, and some users of the product of co-living. And that is it, you guys. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. Would love to connect. And happy to send you a free, I could not pack all these books. I thought about it. It's for the Co-Living Code, it's on Amazon, so of course you can order it there. But if you want just a free digital copy, just shoot me a quick note on LinkedIn. I'll send you that. And there we go. I think that is it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for checking out today's episode. If you want to learn more about co-living, you could check out my book on Amazon, The Co-Living Code. And of course, if you're looking for the perfect software to power your co-living concept, check out Kindred.io, KNDRD.io. Thanks. And a quick thank you to SPX Agency for all of the graphics, animation, and design on our YouTube channel.